Farland. I'm thinking about the farm today. As you can see, I used thin strips of wood and hot glue in order to determine the sizes of the pieces of plywood that I would be using. I scratched my head on that for quite a while and finally realized that the same way they used to template for kitchen counters would work pretty well for me. Now, this section up here, I'll go over there and show you, will be sloped. So that from the plane that Farcliff or Farmore, whatever I decide to call it, from that plane it will look like if the camera, in other words, if the camera was down on the table in the middle of, it's the village, Far Village. From that plane, looking over there, it will look like it goes up a little bit and then rises gradually. The way I'm looking at this whole layout, let me back up here. The way I'm looking at this whole layout is that this is a river that curves up and around. So everything beside it is beside a river. I'm not sure about this over here yet. I may or may not keep that. I don't really want it sloped from the track down to the edge, because if for some reason, if a train or a part of a train comes off the track there and falls, it would go all the way to the concrete floor. And granted, there's a little bit of cushioning from the vinyl, but not enough. I have dropped locomotives before. I dropped an N-scale locomotive, and it made a total mess of it. Broke all kinds of things off. So, as you can see, that's the level of the water. So it's a little bit below the table over there on that side. There's water level right there. And now that's not to say that I'm going to try to make it like it was a river. No. All I'm saying is, if you can imagine that it was a river, let that color your thinking. Okay, back to the farm. Okay, that's good. So I unpacked the farm pieces today. The farm shop, the workers' cottage, the main house, the pig pen, machinery shed, chicken coop, and Graham's experimental garden, where too much Miracle-Gro is never quite enough. So I don't know if you noticed this, my mini level. I'm using that to try to determine how much I would have to raise, in this case the main house, to get it to be level, because they all have to be level. And I'm either going to have to make a pad for each one and level it and blend it to the terrain, or make one big level area, and then have a large drop off down to the terrain, sloping, of course. I'm sort of a mind that it would look better if each item in the farm scene was leveled and then the terrain blended. That will of course be more difficult to do, but that's what I always do. I always make it really hard for myself. Now I just have to decide how to arrange them. I've made that decision. I've made it on camera. The other thing I wanted to talk about today is I think a lot of people are confused as to how this is all laid out. I'm going to do one of my high-level camera things where I get up high and look at it from a different perspective. I'm going to leave a couple sections of the whole tunnel area removable so that in the event of an emergency I can get in there. But I can clean track without getting in there. I'll just put it beside and put the CMX tanker behind my Class 50 and drag it around because it's very strong. In the tug of war, it can outpull anything else on the layout. So let's go up high and take a look. So that's Farland Station right there. There's the harbor. There's the curvy street. There's one of the 180s. Here's the other 180. That's where the farm is going. The yard and shops over there, and House Street. And hopefully a castle out at the end one day. There's the door that you get in. So the slope, this goes down into the tunnel, through some storage sidings, all underground, comes out, across the viaduct and the girder bridge, around the 180, around this 180, through the tunnel. Oh, here's the new viaduct. Through the tunnel, into Farland Station, across the front, up the hill, around behind. That will all be hidden, by the way. Not sure what's going to happen in that corner. The yards and House Street. Got to switch my hand around here. House Street. So that's the big picture. But today, I'm trying to figure this out. It's okay if I don't get it figured out today, though. I can work on it tomorrow if I don't figure it out today. Okay, and so that concludes our aerial view of Farland. So far, I think that's my favorite view, although there are many. I just like this curving wall and what it does. See, the camera has to be over there, otherwise you see something that doesn't belong in the picture. Although hopefully, someday, all this over there will belong in the picture. And I can look at it like that. Actually, that's a pretty good view right there.